shepherd. Nothing right now more positive. Yes, the Lord will bless me. That's why my verse not nasty. The devil trying to chase me, still it not gonna catch me. Because my family bless me. They all is armed and ready. Even if the world against me, the industry rejects me. My music still reflecting the God who's sovereign mighty. Your style they copy plastic, and mine is so authentic. Because I'm in His will, and God is so majestic. Let me drop a freestyle now. It's time to go wild and the crowd go wild. I never get to speak on the mic without the Holy Spirit holding me tight. Let me drop a freestyle now. It's time to go wild and the crowd go wild. I never get to speak on the mic without the Holy Spirit holding me tight.
The name is Frenchy Rich. I remember walking to school in the Congo, flipping America. All I'm hearing, hey, that dude from the jungle. I was in the backseat praying to the Lord when my mama was crashed the car, my uncle. Help but take like who's he? Haters gon' hate on loose sleep. I had a dream I was climbing the charts. When I got to the top, it was too steep.
What it do, what it do, what it does. Hey, welcome back to Locked In Christian with me, Frenchy Riff. And today I got a special guest coming all the way out from one of those flyover states that nobody talks. No, I'm just kidding. but yeah, this guy, big dog in the house, runs one of my favorite podcasts, one of my favorite shows that I'm on. I feel like a regular now, but EB Eric from 520 Collective is here in the house representing, showing up to Locked In Christian. We're about to make him do all kinds of stuff on Locked In. But anyway,
we're locked in on a Friday night. Like we're back in the youth group, we do the
lock-ins. Yeah. Those are illegal now, by the way.
Well, don't tell some people.
Those are illegal in this time period. But man, just so happy to have you on Locked In Christian, because I feel like I'm always on 520 Collective, but it's time for us to have that reciprocal relationship like the tariffs. Okay. I need that to be reciprocal.
I mean, you let us get that 10%, and we'll be 125%.
That's it. Nah, seriously, welcome to Locked In, man. Super excited to have you, because Eric is a professional teacher, so he's going to be able to chime in on tonight's topic. We're talking about what is the church doing about education, because we're going to be diving in on this. Okay, we're going to be looking at all types of stuff, the reaction to AI teaching, all types of stuff, and Eric he's on the front line. Okay, he's on the front line of teaching. When you're in there, you're in the zone. He's in the battle zone. He's one of those first people that got off the boat at Normandy. Okay, this is D-Day. They didn't even give him a gun. They just threw him a piece of wood. They're like, get out there.
Feels like that something. It feels like that something.
You're not even holding a gun. I think about that all the time, though. Those guys really didn't need a gun. When you first got off that shit, you're just wasting bullets. You know what I mean? You're not gonna use them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so happy to have you here. But if you're new to Locked In Christian, welcome. We try to be the voice for all the young Christians out there who are not, missing some just biblical content in the context of what's going on out in the world. There's not a lot of channels that, that are Christians. For every Christian channel, there's about 50,000 secular channel speaking all types of hoo-ha and woohoo on YouTube. So we wanted to be the voice that is talking about things that are relevant, like AI, all these things. But make sure we have biblical surrounding to it. So this is what Locked In is all about. And also so we're gonna let Eric introduce himself, tell us a little bit about the 520 Collective, how he started, how he got into teaching, so we can get into all that. But just don't forget, check out edifymusic.com for all your Christian music, whatever you're trying to transition. If you're trying to get out of those worldly music patterns, just try it out. Try out some Christian music in different genres. It's all out there. So many Christian rappers right now. And also this guy Frenchy Riffs albums coming out June 30th. So just got to throw that out there. For those two people excited about it. One of them is my mom. And
Happy wife.
Yeah, she's in and out sometimes. She's in and out.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, Eric, so tell us a little bit just about you and 520. Make sure you get to 520 Collective, but this is one of those like Chat GPT summaries. If you type in Eric B on there.
Man, not a lot to know, man. Husband, father, educator, coach, chess player.
Chess player.
Yeah, man.
How you showing off?
We like chess, man. We like chess. So
I gotta get you on the app.
Yeah, dude, we got you. We'll make it happen. So,
Okay.
But yeah, man. Other than that, founder 520 Collective, 520collective.com.
That's it.
All that good stuff. At what is it? 520_co on X if you want to check it out there.
Mhm.
Started as really just a site where we were plugging independent Christian hip hop, and over the years it has kind of evolved as we have gotten older and priorities changed and everything. I mean, I'm still a big part of everyone's life that's involved with the squad, obviously, but the last couple of years we've kind of seen our content kind of morph a little bit beyond the Christian hip hop realm. And let's see, what was it? I guess last year, the start of 2024, we launched 520 IXC. It's our YouTube stream show and podcast where we just like tackle things that are happening in the world that impact Christian culture and what that looks like and how that impact just affects the people who take on that that moniker of a Christian, of a Christ follower. Look at some of this stuff and how we move forward going through all the craziness that we see in this world, man.
Yep. Wow, man. Hey, listen, you're being super humble, Eric, because I know some guys in the game, some big names in the CHH world.
Hey, we've been lucky to make some good relationships, and have some people that we rock with them and then they rock with us in return. That are willing to kind of do some stuff for us. But yeah, man, like I said, we definitely have some opportunities.
Let the people know who you've worked with, man. Let the people know who you work with. I think it's important. We gotta blow up more Christian artists because we gotta put them out there.
Dude, I mean, shout out to our guy Brinson, God Chasers. God Chasers in the building with the homie Brinson, really awesome dude, man. If you guys don't know God Chasers, the label, Ready Rider, Oatmeal, all them guys, go check it out, man. But Brinson, he's been doing this for a long time, dude, and has something that everyone's gonna like. He can do a lot of different styles, man. So constantly working, constantly putting out, and he puts on for CHH, man. So Brinson, definitely at the top of the list. Shout out to Eddie Pulio, shout out to K Drama, shout out to Jeremiah Dirt, Shadow of the Locust, the guys over at Polished Arrow, music, like, dude, I mean, there's just a lot of our homie Naladeus, Minnesota. So Yeah, man.
Wow.
Recently, let's see, who we work. Oh, so we do. We also do. I do press release writing. So it's 520 press releases is what it's called. So shout out to a couple of the newest homies that have come along, man. Jay Solo. Um, who else we got? Oh, his hype man Stract is coming out with some stuff soon that we're gonna be able to be a part of that release. So, a lot of people, Reese Lachey, I don't know, man. Like it's a pretty good list, man. We met, like I said, made some good
Mhm.
relationships over. Um, what's it been, man? Like 7 years, I guess, that we've been
Yeah.
doing this. So
That's amazing, dude. You're still going. You're still able to list off about 50,000 names, man. That's just that's
well, hey, it's no shade to anyone that we.
no, no,
Yeah,
no. I'm just saying
work.
it's
We've covered a lot of artists
yeah.
in 7 years.
That's
So
that's amazing, man. We need more of that. Like we need more of press releases for CHH artists. We need that. We got to match what's going on out there at the least because there's like the CHH has improved. It blew up for sure, and but there's still not that, it's not like a casual conversation. Like I don't see a lot of people arguing like, oh, who's better? Lecrae, KB, Lecrae. These arguments don't really happen, but it's part of hip hop. It's part of the culture. And I think we need to have those things like press releases and all that good stuff. So big
yeah.
shout out to you for just being involved in that. And I'm hoping that I can help by, having people like yourself and some artists. I know KD's looking to join us on a podcast soon. So that'll be soon. Getting some, industry inside stuff in the CHH is pretty exciting. But first thing I wanted to show you EV, see if you've seen these videos. As some people probably don't pay attention to any updates that's going on with like AI and all this stuff, but I think it's important not just for people of the world paying attention, but us Christians as well, because Matthew 24 tells us to be prepared. You know what I mean? We it's gonna come like a thief in the night. We don't want no surprises, but things are changing. They're moving kind of rapidly, and people are talking greasy, but there's some crazy stuff going on. And so this is one of the things I wanted us to look at first, just to see if you've seen any of this stuff and what do you think about it, and then we'll kind of transition to how the education system is going to be dealing with these kind of things. So let me know if you can hear this, because I had a little sound issue last week, but
I don't
are you
hear
hear-
it. No.
can you hear that, Eric?
No, I don't hear it.
Oh man, dang, it's happening again, Lord, why? So anyway, well, ultimately in this video, all these people are just like, this person is saying like none of us is real. We're all AI prompts, and like they're like mad that somebody prompted them into existence. Right? They're all like different
Right.
scenarios, but all of these videos, Eric, are not real. Okay, these are all from prompts from this VO. Google just released their newest video model, and this is the videos that are out now
Dude,
from a prompt.
it's crazy, man. Like yeah, it's so crazy how it's like how fast it's all happened too,
I mean, I feel like I'm in disbelief, but I'm really not. But it's like, I mean, you can see his face looks weird right there. That guy's face right here kind of does look a little weird. But these are the kind of things that are out right now. I mean, you can literally write words and it creates a full video, and then give them dialogue, which I wish was happening for us. But anyway, the dialogue's not working. But these are just part of the things that are out there right now. And also, guys, I forgot to remind Eric already knows this, but he's gonna be starting trivia fairly soon. So we're gonna do a couple of questions at a time, so we don't over so we don't overload. So by the time we end, we'll
They're
go
multiple
to
choice, right? Multiple choice questions. So
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna we hooked you up with the multiple choice,
we'll
Eric.
just go
Yeah,
with C. We'll go with
we
C.
we hooked you up with the multiple choice. We weren't about to do you like that. So anyway, as we transit, matter of fact, let's go a couple of questions in right now. Let's go a couple of questions in right now. So let me get the music ready so
Oh
we
man,
know what's going on. That's it. Hey, listen.
I feel like my Jesus card about to be revoked or something here.
Some gets revoked. You know what I mean? There are consequences going on around here. That's gonna be hilarious if somebody does start that. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. You ready? It's biblical trivia time. All right, so we're gonna go some. I think the theology one is one that's working. So we're gonna go medium because I thought that'd be a pretty safe one. Start easy a little bit. Easy is a little bit too easy. All right, so we're gonna just start with the first two here on medium for
Okay.
EB. So what is the concept of common grace in theology?
Oh man, I'm no theologian, man. I can tell you that much. Common grace. I mean, I would assume that would be the grace offered to all. I'll just go with that.
Okay, hold on. Grace offered to all. Wait, can you see the options? What am I looking at?
Oh, I cannot.
Where is
I
it
didn't know
at?
there was options, so I'm just guessing.
Oh, there is. It's just acting up.
Oh, I should. Yeah, that might help me.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Wait a minute. That's something's not going right. All right, here it is. Here it
Oh,
is. Okay.
oh man, hold on. Let me make my screen bigger so I can maybe see.
There's the questions. I bet this will make it bigger right here.
Oh,
Okay.
that's specific prayer set for meals. God bless.
All right, here we go.
I'm gonna go with B. I think that's basically what I was saying.
Okay, here we go. Hey, he's in there. He's in there. EB, listen, you're doing well. This is a great start.
If we
All right,
end
here
it,
we go.
drink is golden, dude. So
All right, what is the doctrine of original sin? These questions are hard, actually. I can't.
I feel like we're gonna go back with B again.
Back with B again. I love. All right, here we go. We gotta let him have a cool down period. Eric is 2 for 2 right now. Eric is 2 for 2 right now. He's gotta have a cool down period. So we'll be back. We'll be back on the quiz, Eric. But you're doing fantastic so far. All right, so a couple of things for our topic before we kind of get into what teaching looks like these days. It hasn't been very popular. I know there's been a big migration of teachers on the news. You can see teachers are quitting all over the place. There's kind of a shortage in a way, not just because, and a lot of them complain about the pay, which I think most people can go. We could always get paid a little bit more, but I know teachers have been on the terrible end of the stick towards that respect. But Eric, just catch us up a little bit on, I haven't been in school in forever, and probably most people haven't been in school in a long time if you're watching this late. But what's school like these days? What's teaching like? What are the kids like? What's going on?
I mean, teaching it is so weird, man. It's like one of those things that's like when you try to explain it to someone that's not in it, a lot of times they look at you like they don't believe you, right? Like there's no way it's like that. And it's like, no, this is truly like you don't get it, man. Like it's crazy because yes, a teacher shortage, and a lot of that has to do with, well, I mean, a lot of factors, but I mean, you've got like the people that kids look up to now, right? There was a time where teachers were important people in the lives of young people, and so they wanted to follow in those footsteps, right? And you've got a decrease in the amount of kids that are graduating high school and going to college and enrolling in teaching programs to become teachers. And we see that where there are schools, and like even like in my area, like in Southwest Missouri, right? Like there's a college that traditionally has put out a lot of teachers through their program that like they legitimately talked about shutting their teaching program down because of low enrollment numbers
Wow.
in it, right? And so that adds to the amount of teachers because every year you're going to have more teachers that are retiring. I mean, that's just natural. And if you don't have new ones to replace it, I mean, that's not even taking into account people that leave the profession altogether and go to another
Right.
career, right? And there's a lot of reasons for that, whether it's burnout, opportunities to get better pay, because I mean the pay it's not great. I mean, especially when you stack it up against the amount of time that you put in outside of your contract hours. But at the same time, in that regard, I always look at like if you got into teaching and you got into it thinking I'm gonna make a bunch of money, then you got into it for the wrong reason
Right.
anyway. Because that's not what's gonna happen. Now you can make some money, if you're willing to take on some extra activities, extra roles like coaching or club sponsorships or
Right.
whatever, but it's more of, I think traditionally, and the way I view it is if you're going to get into teaching, you better do it because you have a servant's heart, man, and you want to, go and do stuff for people. Um, and I mean, like I got into teaching a little bit later in life. I went back to college a second time
Oh,
in order to
snap!
become.
Really?
Yeah. So, I was kind of stuck in. I've been working like retail management for like a decade, and trying to chase trying to climb those ladders.
Corporate ladder,
and
baby.
yeah, excuse me, and kind of just getting burned out with that, and several of my friends were in education. They were teachers, and my wife was like, I don't get why you didn't do this, from the get-go,
Right.
and so I went back and earned a teaching degree and earned a master's degree and got into teaching. And it took me a long time to get in this spot that I realized, okay, maybe this is where I'm supposed to
Right.
be. Like it feels like, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some days where I'm like, I'm terrible at
Wow.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's, well, maybe I'm not that bad.
And then you turn on the news for a second, or scroll through Twitter for like 5 minutes. You're like, yeah, I'm definitely not that bad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, teaching it's so wild because I think you had, going back to like when I was in school, right? Like when I was in the middle school, high
Right.
school, like you had some kids that, they didn't care about school and didn't put much stock in it. But I think at that time, the consensus, most people understood why you needed an education, and why, going through high school and going on to college, how it impacted their futures. Today, man, you are dealing with a lot of apathy in education.
What's a day like? What's the kids like, man? What give us the trenches picture.
Well, when you look at it from kids now growing up and not knowing anything but like social media and technology at their fingertips, right? And how that's kind of almost rewired their brains, right? Like they see a Mr. Beast or they see whatever, YouTube, Twitch, video game streamer that they're watching, and they're like, that's what I'm doing right there. And they don't realize that only 1% of the people that try to break into those industries do anything, you know? They think it's, oh, I'm gonna happen. It's gonna happen for me. I just gotta post a video on TikTok, and that's all I need to do. And so why do I need to be here? Why do I need to be in school?
Yeah, I don't need to learn all this.
Do that. I know how to do this. And added into the addiction to cell phones. I mean, that's a legit, and there's a reason why we're seeing a lot of states that's rolling out new policy
I
to
saw that.
so in Missouri, there is a policy that has made it through both houses in the state legislature, and it's on the governor's desk at this point to be signed, and the expectation that it is going to be signed. That's going to require all of our school districts in the state to have some sort of cell phone ban in place by August. They're leaving some of it up to the school districts, right? Where they're like, hey, we're telling you got to have a ban in place that deals with instructional time, right? So when they're in the classroom, cell phones have to be banned. Beyond that instructional time, it's kind of up to the districts. Like, what does that look like? Are they able to have it between classes? Are they able to have them out at lunch, before school, etc.? Or is it like a complete ban? Because like when this proposal started, it was a complete no phones on school property at all.
Wow.
Was what it was trying to be, and then it kind of scaled back a little bit as it went through the house. So I don't know, man, but like all I know is that, and I've been saying it the last. So we started summer school this week, and I've said it a few times, like just looking around and trying to get some of these kids prepared for, hey, when you come here in August, you're not going to be able to have that phone.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, our building. Oh man,
You good? Yeah.
yeah. Sorry. Just paused up there for a second, but I was like, man, our building's gonna be like a rehab clinic for like a month while these kids detox.
They're gonna be tweaking. You're gonna see
phones,
some kids just tweaking in the back. This the cell phone, just doom scrolling, like ghost scrolling.
Dude, 100%, dude. I was like, we better get some like beds with some straps and be able to put them down when they start shaking and stuff.
Oh
man,
my god,
they're not gonna have that dopamine, dude.
I can only imagine, man. Like when I was in middle school, obviously, I don't even feel that old about it. Okay, because the players I coach soccer, and they always think I'm so old. Sometimes they think I'm really young, and I'm like, bro, I'm way older than that. And but when I'm trying to explain what it was like in school, I'm like, oh my gosh, every year it's almost like we get further and further away from the time where I did not have a cell phone. Like there is no cell phone. You just go to school, you just go home, and you just hope your parents just hope you make it home without checking anything. You know what I mean? There's this like weird, just natural trust that happened. But I guess that's probably one of the parents' probably the biggest pushback against no cell phone in school, because they're thinking, well, there's all these increased violence just around schools and all that stuff. So I kind of want to be able to get in touch with my student or my son or daughter, whatever the case is.
So you hear that argument a lot when it comes to this. However, that's the extreme.
Of course.
That's the extreme. And let's be honest, if you're in it, I mean, God forbid you're in one of those situations, right? But if you are in a active shooter situation in a school, you're not going to be trying to call mom. Not if you're trying to hide and be quiet or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so those phone calls aren't going to keep you safe. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's also the extreme. Like the percentage, of the likelihood of it happening is small.
Right.
But what happens with anything that gets debated is the extremes are the things that are thrown out there.
True.
Right? It's never the medium. The median is never the most likely outcomes. that are talking about.
So let's get to, so do you allow, oh, does your school district allow the kids to use AI within the classroom, or is it still taboo?
So, um, yes. Now, as long as it's used properly as a tool, right? And I think that comes with teaching kids how to use it
Mhm.
that way, right? Because I mean, that's one of the. I mean, even before this boom of AI, right? You had a lot of kids is like, oh, why do I need to know this? I can just Google this, right? And it's like, yeah, you can. However, the downfall of that attitude is that you are not developing critical thinking skills. You're developing whatever Google tells me, I'm just accepting it.
Mm,
And what happens if you can't Google that in the moment and you're sitting there going, I don't know what to do right
right.
now? You know, um, and I think trying to get that idea through and get kids bought in is one of the most difficult things to
Mm,
do, right? Because the thing I'm worried about is, yes, we've seen crazy growth in technology moves so fast, right? But in order to keep moving forward, to keep advancing, you have to have people that have the ability to see what the future is and develop it and create that future, right? To create those new technologies. What happens when we got a generation of individuals who is not able to critically think and develop and come up with ways to make stuff work? Our advancements
yeah.
stall, right? And that's would be my concern with
Okay.
it.
Um, so I'm gonna read off a couple of just reactions from different, there's some tweets that people have talked about from universities and just other education thing. But before we get to that, we gotta get to round two of the biblical
Okay,
trivia,
let me
because,
write it down.
hey, listen, EB is killing it right now. He's 2 for 2. So we're gonna try to push until we're
Ooh.
gonna try to push until we see his breaking point. Then we're gonna call his pastor. And here we go. Here are three. What does soteriology?
Soteriology. I don't even know
Come
what
on,
that
Eric. You
is,
said that for
man.
every answer, and you've got them all right. So I'm not even believing you no more.
No, I've never heard this word, man. So let's see, soteriology. I want to go. Oh man, let's go with D.
Oh,
Let's try end
ooh, here we
times.
go. Oh,
No. Oh,
oh,
oh. I was debating between C and D. I was debating between them.
oh. All right. Hey, listen. You get back at it. You get back
Hey,
on that horse.
two
You
for three
get
is a
back on
passing
that
grade, dude.
horse. Let's see. Here we go. What is this is an easy one. What is the doctrine of the Trinity? Here we go.
C.
There it is. There it is. He's back. He's back. Okay. Let's go. One more. Let's go. One more. All right. What is the theological term for God's attribute of being all powerful? This one's easy too. Come on.
Being all
Powerful.
hold on. Powerful. Okay, okay. Um, A.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. He's back on his streak. He's back on his streak, man. Listen, Eric, your pastor is not going to be let down today.
Shout out,
Big time.
shout out to the lucky guessers in the
Big
world.
time.
Check out to the guys who can take good, who are good at taking tests. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
and so some of the I guess the essence or the emotions around these AI improvements have been going around on Twitter, and one of the tweets says, AI is demoralizing universities. Students who use AI think, why bother to study or write when I can just have AI do it for me? What do you think about that kind of remark? Do you agree, first of all, or disagree? Oh, I think we lost.
Okay,
I
there we
thought
go.
we lost
No, no,
focus
no.
on
Sorry, it
Eric.
was like
Oh,
not
there it is.
unmuting for a second there.
Yeah. You want me to read that one more
I,
time?
I, I was I was stuck on I was stuck on mute. I was stuck on mute for a minute. I don't know why
Yeah.
it was doing that.
So this
So,
tweet says AI. Oh yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I like it's hard for me to disagree with it, you know,
Mm,
because I mean that's a lot like what I was saying before, just with Google. But like I think AI takes it to like this whole new realm of okay, it's with like Google, right? Like it gives you information and you have to like process it, and figure out okay what bits of this information is useful for what I'm trying to accomplish here. With AI, like I said, like
hmm
so many kids are just like, I don't have to do it. This will do it, right? And
Right.
I like not only is it impacting like your academic work, right? But dude, like the thing I think that gets left out a lot um is the mindset and the habits that it's impacting at the same time, right? Like you're
Mm,
like right now these kids are developing the adults that they are going to be, right? And they're going to
right.
become adults that say, eh, something else will do it for me. It's fine. No worries.
So, I mean, the sentiment is very polarized. It's kind of some people reflecting a little bit of optimism, and some are obviously wanting to proceed with more caution. But the optimism is in that reduced workload. So, I'm just thinking back to when I was in college. If we had AI, for example, I mean, it could have saved myself hours of research, but in that research that I spent, I learned how to research. So are you losing a bit of that? Yes, but I can see the optimism in it. And
So
is there, yeah, is
let me,
there,
let me push on that thing that you said right there,
okay,
though.
go ahead. Yeah.
Let me push on this. I mean, is that what's the purpose of school and going to college and earning a degree in a specific field? You're wanting to create these experts, right?
Mhm.
So
Essentially.
what is it that makes you the expert on something? It's not that paper, it's not that end product.
Right.
It's that time that you spent researching and
Mm,
gaining the knowledge,
right.
right? So we're skipping out on those steps. So what is going to be the eventual result if we cut out that middle part where we actually get the most useful experience out of,
Right.
right? You're no longer creating experts. You are creating people that are really good at copy and pasting. Because like, um, I don't have a problem. Like if you want to say go into like a chat GPT and some people have trouble getting started, right? And if you want
Mm,
to say, hey, this is what I'm needing to know, give me some stuff to think about here. Give me a jumping off point,
right.
and then I can run with it. And that goes back to teaching young people how to use this technology as a tool and not a way to jump to the finish line.
Mm, right. Okay. So I agree with that pushback a little bit. Not and I think for the most part, if we kind of start to transition this to the biblical essence, and I know of some pastors that have used AI to just kind of structure their message. Because I mean, again, you can research the Bible just as quickly, but going through it, I mean, maybe not as quickly to find all of the talking points of Jesus Christ on this or Paul talking about this. But AI is a lot quicker with that. But
Yeah. Well, and in those cases, like saying, hey, give me verses related to this, and then you look at those verses and figure out, okay, I want to use this, I want to use that, I'm going to leave this one out.
right,
Going through that process yourself there, that's the way to use it as a tool, right? That's the way
true.
that makes sense. But we've also seen examples of people who literally say, yo, Chat GPT writes my sermon and I read it.
I mean,
and I use it to make money.
hey, listen, I caught some AI channels on YouTube, and it wasn't until I realized they were all AI, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like this
Yeah.
is all they've AI the whole thing, and they have a voice that's AI reading off this perfect script, and then the AI images, and it has millions of followers. I mean, people are tuning into the same old. I'm pretty sure you've probably seen one of these. They have some big channels, and it's all faceless YouTube channels, but so there's always potential.
I want to respond to Mustafa here, where he says there will always be experts, just evolved. I mean, I hope so, man. But
Oh, let's see what Boo said.
here's the thing,
Oh,
like seeing it every day,
yeah.
dude. Like, you don't get some of these kids; they're just willing to accept it, and we know AI is not always right, right?
Mm,
Because I mean, depending on how the programming is done and stuff, and the bias that went into it, it's not
yeah,
always right. But they don't know. They just take it at face value and say, "Yo, yeah, let's roll with that." And if we get a generation of people that 90% of them are like that,
true.
you don't have enough true. I don't, and I'm not sitting here trying to say what um, the outcome will be with any kind of certainty. I'm
Yeah.
just saying I'm concerned about what that outcome eventually is if we get to that point.
And I did want to just to get on top of that pulse, but just to follow up on the potential bias, and that is very true. We're seeing whoever's owning that large language model, the LLM, like a OpenAI or Anthropic or Google. Microsoft, they're inputting their own bias. They put their own parameters. There are guardrails inside that of things you can search or cannot search, things that AI can tell you, cannot tell you. And eventually, there's going to be some guardrails with biblical structure. There's already guardrails in China for Bible. Matter of fact, I think they've printed out, and I did the story on the channel, but they've printed out their own Bibles for Christians to use in China. The government's like, hey, use this Bible. And obviously, it's going to take out some things that they don't like, that feels like Western ideals and things like that. But those are things that Jesus Christ has said. So they remove a couple of things. They're like, hey, this is what you're going to be able to use. How long until Chat GPT or whatever is referencing that Bible, or someone else comes in and be like, hey, I want this Bible that seems a little bit more friendly to people that are non-Christian, etc. And it's going to just reference that Bible. And if you're
Well,
not careful as a young Christian, or someone that's trying to grow in the faith, you're just taking in this AI, and you really don't know what the actual, the word said, right? So
yeah.
you might just take it and go, okay, cool, yeah, that's the word, that's final. That's that's like
Well,
pretty much trusting a meme.
Well, and like the follow up thing here is AI is not always right, but neither is humanity. True, but what were we taught whenever we were just getting our information from individuals? We were taught, hey, fact check it, go do your research, go get other sources to corroborate with what is being said here. The message is different with AI. The message is, oh, you can trust this. This is good,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It's not question it. It's not make sure. It's not verify, right?
Yeah.
Like it was before. So yes, humanity definitely can make errors, but there was a level of, what's the word I'm looking for? Ownership over your knowledge, your personal
Hmm.
knowledge that was placed on that's been placed on individuals throughout history. Of, okay, you can choose to blindly follow what this person's saying, or you can listen to it, kind of come up with what you think, and go and figure it out. Go
Hmm.
and put in the time to know, right? And what was the response to people who would blindly follow ridiculous things, right? like they were called out for it, right?
Yep.
We've done that forever. So I don't know, man. Like when you start looking at some of that and the way that this technology is marketed, again, I am not saying that we shouldn't have the technology at all. Far from it. Like this is, I mean, regardless of, even if I felt that way, right? Like this is what it is we're not going backwards.
Right.
But how are we preparing kids to know how to properly, implement what the possibilities that this technology gives us,
I think the guardrails to me feel somewhat important in this, but ultimately it's like educating on top of the chat GPT. So it's like for me, for example, my son, he's never going to know a world that's just Google, right? He's never going to know that world. That world is not going to exist to him. All he will know is instant like answer to his question, like what is the temperature of Mars? He'll get it in 0.5 seconds. He knows exactly what that is. But we didn't grow up that way. We grew up like, oh man, I gotta go find this like planets textbook, or what I mean. I have to go Google, then I have to click a page, and I have to find and read it through the page. And he has instant answer. He's not going to know another world. So the guardrails eventually will become the most important aspect of all of these LLMs. And for someone that's like you, AB, that's in the trenches and you're teaching, I bet they have no problem inserting AI into the classroom, but it's going to have massive guardrails. Like, hey, we're not accepting your AI written essay, right? We're not even going to do essay. You're going to have to come and speak. Like you learned everything, so just come and tell us what you learned, essentially. But also just going back to the videos that we saw, I imagine that Eric, unfortunately, someone with your profession, once I see this video like that, I'm like, what if they just make a teacher? You know what I mean? And then I'm just at home now and the teacher is there. It's like it looks like a real person and it's teaching me whatever I need to know, and I can just sit there and learn from whatever and take the quiz almost immediately, and then go be about my day. So education
Well,
might also have this revolution period that might be coming. What do you think?
well, I mean, online and virtual classrooms, at the collegiate level, has been something for a while, right?
Yeah, true, true,
The
true.
the kind of tricky point is when you're talking about that secondary education, the high school and
Yep.
middle school and that stuff. And COVID, no matter how you view COVID, like that, but that was, I mean, at the very least, that was a time that tested the waters of it, right?
Failure.
And I think what we see is that in order, because, and I can say this from my personal experience, because whenever I went back to college, I primarily was online, right?
Okay.
And even as an adult, like it was very important that I kind of figured out, okay, this is what the flow of this class has to be. So this is what my weekly structure needs to be like for me to complete the assignments and to be successful in this class, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kids, the majority of them do not have that ability yet to be that structured to be successful in that setting. So
Until this. Now, have you seen this one? This one doesn't have sound or anything, but I'm gonna kind of explain to you because this kind of goes with what you're saying, and I'm gonna let you wrap up what you're saying after you see this, because I thought so too. I thought 2020 virtual classrooms absolute failure, but now there's this company called
well,
Odyssey.
I won't say absolute failure 100%. I think there was some good stuff, because one thing that did not happen before that, like there's these things that they're called AMI days, right? Where alternate methods of instruction, and like
Mm,
in our state, school districts have 5 of those that they can use. So like if you've got a snow day, for example, where normally you would just be done out, you can use the AMI day and get that
okay.
instruction in virtually, right? So it COVID showed us like, okay, if we're gonna do this, maybe we need it to look like this for it to at least sort of work. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So there was some positives there. Now, is it a long-term solution? Is that great? Man, there's a lot of factors that you have to consider for it.
Okay. What about this as a factor? So this company is called Odyssey, and what they're creating essentially is it's beyond VR. It's not VR. Like you don't need to wear anything, but essentially you're in the video, and in the video you can manipulate anything in the world. Um, I thought this was actually probably the most interesting development that I've seen in a while. So as you can see here, like that, like this world you're watching in the video, you can actually enter it and explore. Right? Look, you can type in on the keyboard or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You can be a part of it. And I was like, wait a minute. How did this, like, if you're in the education space, and this is no longer that like I feel like the interactive part of classroom was missing during COVID, right? That was the problem, that a lot of kids kind of missed, that the social aspect. But what if you can enter into the world, right? What if you can be a part of this world? Say you're learning about outer space, you're learning about the moon, and you're at the moon. You're like exploring stuff. That makes education feel it feels exciting in a way, right? That it's kind of like it makes things easier to learn. So what do you think about that? For example, like, right, this company Odyssey, and just that concept of being immersed in whatever video it is.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think like I said, kind of with all technology, I think it is something that can be very, very useful. You know, again, if used the right way, right? Now, if you let it take over and that becomes a kid's world, and they are shut off from everything else that's in part of real life experience, now I would have a different conversation on it. But at the surface level, as a tool, as a way to enhance learning, yeah, man, you use it correctly and awesome.
Right. I think it'd be awesome for learning the Bible too. Speaking of Bible, somebody's got to finish this trivia quiz real quick. We're about to see where Eric ends up on this quiz. I'm excited. So now we're gonna fast track through the last 5 years. So let's see. Last 4. I think it's 4. Last 4.
We'll find out.
All right, here we go. What is theological? Hold on. Let's get the music going. I'm tripping. You can't be trivia time with no music. All right, here we go. So, what is the theological concept of sanctification?
That one should be D.
Ooh, boy, Eric, killing it. I'm killing it. All right, here we go. What is the image? Day. Imago Dei. Sorry, not image. Imago Dei.
B.
Ooh, he's cooking. He's showing off. He's a professor, guys. Don't let him fool you. He's a professor with a master's. What is the Protestant?
What?
What is the Protestant principle of sola scriptura? Scriptura.
I'm assuming it's A.
And he's assuming correct, man. He's absolutely cooking. This is crazy. He's just going right through it. What is covenant theology? I think Eric's about to set a record on Locked In.
D.
All right, here it is. The final one. What is justification in theology?
Oh man, let's see. I guess B makes sense.
Here we go. Bro, let's see the results. Oh, there it is. Hey, we gotta frame that. That's that is right now. Okay, you beat the last. I think the last quiz highest was the 80. It was the
Oh,
80%. So EB, listen, as of today, you have the record on Locked In Christian for the highest biblical trivia quiz. So your pastor is gonna absolutely shout you out at the church. Hopefully, I'm gonna
I'm
send this
going
to
to
him.
I'm gonna update my resume with that.
I'm gonna send this to your pastor immediately. So just so you know, Eric is locked in. Okay, EB is locked in. So hey man, I'm proud of you setting the record on Locked In Christian, and that's really how we do it. All right. So just kind of wrapping up our
Hey,
talk.
Mustafa said, "What is the right way?" I'm assuming he meant whenever I was saying, as long as that, like Odyssey, is used the right way.
Oh, right,
What I
right,
mean
right.
by that is there are some teachers who are going to mail it in and do the easy thing and just say, "Hey, y'all log into this and do this,"
Mm-hmm.
and leave it at that. That's not the right way. That's you got to actually be in there and interact with the kids. Show them, hey, what is the benefit that this program can give us here, and how do we get the most out of that benefit, rather than just using it as like a way to kill time and almost like a babysitter of sorts. Um, like I said, because my concern is with what we see is a lot of kids, man, will throw all of their meaning and all of their purpose into something like, maybe, I mean, I'd say I haven't used this, so I don't want to say something like Odyssey, but we've seen them like they put all of their everything, like who they are, their identity, into Instagram, right? And
Mm.
people say something and it destroys their world, man, and they can't handle it because that is their reality to them. And you want them to see, yo, that is the reality is out here. The reality is actual relationships. It's interesting, man. If you go into like these, like a high school cafeteria, where it used to be loud and everyone's talking to each other, and that's how we grew up. Now it's
Right.
like kids are all just down, quiet, staring at their
Oh
phones.
my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Well, and oftentimes they're texting the people that they're sitting next to.
Is it quiet? Is it really
It
quiet? We
is,
used to we used to
it
be
is,
told to
man.
be quiet sometimes. It gets so
Yeah,
loud.
it's like, yeah. So like a lot of the research that's gone into like, um, especially with what the stuff going in with some of these state policies that's being put in place on cell phone bans, right? A lot of that research is saying, hey, the schools that have restricted that cell phone use have seen an uptick, like a 180 in social relationship development. And you've seen kids that go, hey, we're actually all talking to each other, and we find out that we like each other, and then we find out this and that about people that we didn't know before, and we make plans to go do something after school, where before the plan was, let's go home and play Call of Duty,
Right.
not in the same room or anything like that,
That's
so
wild. Oh
yeah.
man, that's sad, man. That's sad to think about. Like going into the cafeteria and it's dead silent. It's
Yeah,
like
but the
everyone's
thing
just
that is showing kids that, you are more
mm.
than your followers on TikTok or whatever, you know what I'm
Snapchat,
saying? Yeah.
Snapchat. I had to learn. I was on Snapchat early, okay, and then I was like, "It's not for me, man." It just didn't feel right. Snapchat, something didn't feel right about it because the messages disappear, and I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to be messing with Snapchat. But that's their mode of communication. Like I can't get like with my players, like we have a team group chat, and literally I can't get a response. I can't get a response
You have
out of
no
the team group chat because I'm like, oh wait, they don't communicate on this. They communicate on Snapchat, and I refuse to get on Snapchat with the
you have no idea how many times I've seen like kids like just like weeping, like crushed, destroyed, because like 90% of the schools on this Instagram thread or whatever, or Instagram group, and something was said about that kid, or a video or a picture or something was posted about them.
they're not on there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and not only that, but then they feel like, oh, well, now the whole world knows this or whatever, and it's like, oh man. And on top of that, like, my question becomes, I mean, like schools try to handle that, but
Yeah.
is it supposed to be the school's responsibility to police what's happening on social media?
I don't think so, man.
I don't think so either.
I don't. I mean, everyone has tried to police social media, and it hasn't worked. There is no policing that hellscape in
Yeah.
other in some areas. But just to kind of wrap up, um, our conversation involving AI and the students. I mean, the sentiment is polarized, right? There's people on both extremes, and there's some people willing to meet in the middle, especially when it comes to the church. Like the church is not really talking about it enough, and I think platforms like this and yours as well, we get to have these type of conversations that I think are crucial. I think the church should be covering this because I mean, we're raising young pastors essentially, right? We're raising future pastors. If they're only reliant on AI doing everything for them, being a pastor is going to seem very easy, right? It's like, hey, do this in the style of this bishop, do this in the style of whatever pastor, so and so, and I can essentially just kind of read off or memorize it. And I talked about this on a show last week or 2 weeks ago, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a AI church very soon, and if it hasn't popped up
Well,
already,
we've seen churches in VR,
yeah,
right?
right.
So, and I'm
So
sure I'm sure AI is not far behind.
yeah, we're gonna have an AI pastor where I mean it's gonna be an AI doing the teaching, putting it all together, and people probably showing up or showing up online, virtually, whatever the thing is. So essentially, the church needs to have this conversation. We need to be plugged in. We need to understand how all of these systems are working and how they, how they affecting young pastors. Because it's very tempting as a pastor. You're like, oh man, I forgot how to write. If you're a youth pastor, you're like, oh, I forgot to write something for this Sunday or whatever. I could just quickly do it and be like, quick memorize it. And what was that? Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes we used to use back in high school. You ever use Cliff Notes?
Like
Whatever the
Spark Notes.
Spark
Yeah,
Notes, whatever it was. Yeah, Spark
Cliff
Notes. And
Notes was the thing. Yeah,
yeah, get on that Spark Notes. You're like, but that was for us. You had to actually go do more work to get on Spark
right.
Notes. But now you can just cuckoo and then quickly read it. I'm like, man, we're raising these young pastors, and it could pretty much set up the next church. Like if we're not careful, we're setting up as the next church. Like, pastors now are not going to be pastors in 10, 20 years, 30 years. So how do we set up the next church? Like if Paul was alive right now, like how would he see this, like extrapolating into the next 10, 20 years? The church is not talking about it. And I feel like it should be a conversation. So let's wrap it up with that question. What do you think the church needs to do to prepare for this kind of AI invasion? Because it's not just in education in the
Yeah.
secular world, it's also hitting us in the church.
I think there's a couple things. I think one, we can't be afraid of it, right? I think that's what, like, even in the education world, I think a lot of the biggest people that are against it are the ones that like don't understand it, right?
Mhm.
And so there's like a certain like kind of fear factor involved in it. So I think that's the first thing is the church can't be fearful of it. You need to be willing to again take the time to understand. Okay, how is this useful, right? And when it comes to the younger generations that are coming up, that's eventually going to be the leaders. Is are we taking the time to educate them? Are we walking along with them? That goes back to the discipleship thing, and I think a lot of people would agree that you don't see probably a correct example of discipleship happening in the American church, especially at this point. So, are you putting that discipleship time in with these people who are coming up that you're expecting to step into those roles and walking that out with them? They need someone alongside them. They need someone that they are accountable to, right? Um, because I think your question of what would Paul say? Like, dude, if we have someone that is just simply popping it into some AI and taking it and running with it, and that's it. Like the thing about Scripture is it's not just a book, right? It's a living, breathing documents, entity here where there's depth, and you don't get into that deepness without actually diving in and being in those waters, right? So we have that's a message that we've got to like drill in and put like in the forefront of these people's minds of, okay, I can't just treat this like any old bit of information, right? I have to live with this, and if I want it to not only be able to use it to hopefully help others, but if I want my life to truly be impacted, right? So that would be the couple of things that my immediate thoughts would be, you know.
That's fair. That's fair. And I mean, ultimately, it does make the scriptures, more accessible for those that don't want to have a hard copy. But you already know what we say on Locked In Christians. We talk about go getting you a physical copy of the Bible, because I'm pretty sure very soon you can't trust those digital ones. I don't know. I just feel like you won't be able to trust them very soon. So get you one of these copies before it's hard to get. But Eric, listen, I can't thank you enough for pulling up and absolutely crushing biblical trivia. By the way, I mean, setting records, doing all types. I mean, just doing numbers.
You got to let KD know. Let him know. He probably would have got 10.
I don't want to get him nervous. You know what I'm saying? If you let, but KD's very theological, so he might. I might have to put him on the hard level, which I got like a 50. The hard one is extreme. Okay, it's gone Roman on me. It might as well have been in Greek. But I'm not gonna let him know the score. I'm just gonna tell him you did very well. But listen, you showed up, you killed it, and we're gonna have this posted as well. And so, just any last words for the people? Share what's going on with 520. What's next? What's the big focus? What do you got going on? Fill us in.
Yeah, man. So with the end of school year, into the softball season, all that kind of stuff. We were kind of hit or miss during softball season with 520 IXC, but we're gonna get back rolling on a more normal schedule. So 520 IXC is our show here on YouTube and the podcast. So it is Monday nights at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you want to tap in with us, subscribe, share. I mean, the biggest thing for us is like word of mouth, man. I believe in word of mouth strongly. So tell people about it, man, if you like it. But tap in with us, hang out with us, because we would love you to be a part of the conversation. That's the big stuff that we got going, man. As we get back rolling with IXC, our guy Frenchie here is gonna hopefully hang out with us a lot of Mondays, if not most Mondays.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, you know I'm there. I'm there. So yeah, pull up, because your boy's gonna be on there too.
Yeah, man. Check it out. We're on Substack, so it's 520club.com/Substack. You can get signed up on there and get connected with us that way. So yeah, man, just looking forward to being able to hang out and talk about, whatever it is we talk about that week, man. We never know.
I love the topic. I love the topics, man. Yeah, definitely, man. Like I said, big shout out, shout out to the guys over 520. But thank you again for pulling up on Locked In. And hey, listen, hopefully the school year is easier upon your return back to school. So we'll be praying for that. But hey, listen, we've been Locked In Christian, and don't forget to check out the album coming out June 30th and edifymusic.com for all your Christian music switch over, we're gonna call it. But listen, we'll holler at you guys at the next one. For myself, EB, we'll see you guys on the next episode.